Recently, there were pictures posted online about Victor Wembanyama working out with Kevin Garnett. It has been confirmed that he has been working out with Kevin Garnett at least for the last week or two, from what I've been hearing. And some people are wondering, why is it Victor working out with Tim Duncan or David Robinson to improve his game? But I have some ideas about why that is the case. I would say that Victor is a very curious guy. He's willing to explore anything. For example, last summer he worked out with Jamal Crawford for a period of time in which he wanted to learn how to do ball handling skills from Jamal Crawford, since Jamal was always a great ball handler and he had great ball handling tricks that he could teach Victor. So he wanted to get improve his ball handling, so he went there to get the help. I think Victor seeks out different types of legends for different parts of his game. For example, there was this story, I believe, during the All-Star game where All-Star weekend, that is, where he spent, like, I think 45 minutes to an hour with Jokic, trying to learn things from Jokic about his game and how to implement it into his own game. So I feel Victor is always trying to take bits and pieces of every great player, current and former, and just seeing how you can apply some of their skill set to his game. I look at this the same way. I do believe he probably has reached out to Tim Duncan and Dave Ross in the past, and they have shown him some tips and tricks that he could add to his game. I just think, for example, Dunk is a very private person, so we might not have never known it, but I do believe he probably has reached out to those guys. It's hard for me to believe that he hasn't, since from day one when he met up with them, they all gave him their phone numbers and contact information and told him that he could reach out to them at any time. So I think he has. I would say this about Kevin Garnett is that his body type is more similar to Kevin Garnett than Tim Duncan. Duncan was a bigger and much more physical player than Kevin Garnett. I've always argued with Garnett's fans, the reason why Duncan was better than Garnett was Duncan's post-up game was on another level, where physically he had the strong, broad shoulders and good lower body and upper body strength, where he could just back down guys all the way underneath the paint and score at will, either a easy jump hook, layup, or a dunk. Just by getting in great position, he could always establish it on any pivot on the court. While Garnett never had that strength where he could just muscle guys underneath and get whatever he wanted. He had to be a little bit more creative. I felt like, in the sense that he was more of a perimeter player playing the power forward, where Duncan was more of a post player playing the power forward. Both of them were great at facing up, I'll say that. So they had that, but their skill set was different, I would say, all around. Garnett was more of a perimeter-like player, attacking the basket and shooting jump shots, while Duncan was also facing up. He could drive, but he was also relying a lot on post up. So their games are different in that regard. But going back to Victor, I feel Victor still doesn't have a strong enough body where he can become a great post up player like Duncan was able to be. Like, he doesn't have the ability to back down guys like Tim did. I saw him try it many times at the start of last season, and he just could not get that positioning or the strength to move the defender. He just didn't have it. And unfortunately, I don't think he might ever develop that ability, because his body might not allow it to put on that strength and muscle that is needed to be a back down post player. So I would say Garnett is more similar in that body type, that Garnett was never known to be a back down player, a guy who could back guys down the post. So he has probably a lot of tips and tricks he can help Victor with, since they're both very skinny guys. And I'm sure he can teach him those tricks like facing up, how to drive in the paint and be effective, and those types of things. And even where to get, easy jump shots. Granted, Garnett was more of a mid-range jump shooter, but to me, Garnett could hit threes also in this era if he ever decided to do that he would have been effective in this era. But back then, it was just a mid-range, and Garnett had a very long mid-range shot. It was ridiculous. It was like 22 feet or so. So I'm sure he can give him those tips and even some defensive tips since Victor is very mobile, like Garnett was, how to switch and those things. I'm sure he'll pick up those things from working out with Kevin Garnett. So I think it's positive in that regard. There are just certain things that Garnett knows that could help Victor in his pursuit to reach his potential. So that's pretty much all I had to say about this.